Today we're fishing on the Grand Union Canal at Slapton, where I'll be fishing two methods, the 3 metre pole and the running line. The weather's going to be hot today, and may be quite a bit of boat traffic. It may affect the fishing a little bit, but let's see what we can catch. First of all, I shall set up the 3 metre pole. The pole I'm using is telescopic, and it's got a spliced tip built into the top, which absorbs my strike when I'm fishing a light line. It's stiff through the middle, allowing not too much play when swinging fish in. The attachment on the end is a Stonfo fitting. It's got a small hook which the loop goes over, and the sleeve covers the hook so as the loop cannot come out. It's quite simple. It's a hook with a sleeve. The rig I'm going to use on the 3 metres today is the 4 number 10 Styles. Normally I'd perhaps use the 4 number 12 Styles, but with the conditions where there's not much wind and it's pretty calm, a lighter float would be a better presentation. And with it hot, the fish will be a little bit higher up in the water. It'd be a better bet than the 4 number 12s, which is a lot heavier rig. The attachment I use for putting my rig on my winder is a little devil hook. It's just a little bit of elastic with an anchor on one end and a little loop on the other. It just attaches to the loop of my rig, and when I wind it at the end of the day on my winder, or when I'm taking it off, it just puts it away neater in the box, to save having loops of line all flapping everywhere in your box. The reel I use is an open-faced reel. It's nice and light. I have used close-face reels, but I think they hinder the casting. As you can see there with the spool, the line comes off so freely, and when the line's put on correctly, it's a match spool on there and it does take 100 yards of line, and as you can see, the line comes off so freely. But when casting little light floats, which I'll be using today, it allows you to fish as light as possible and less disturbance when the float goes into the water. Another point is always position the reel as far up the butt of the rod as you can, as tight to the end as you can, because that's when you achieve the maximum balance on your rod. Because I've seen a lot of anglers with the reel down here. I've got a short butt on this rod because I've cut it to my length of my arm, because I find there's no need to have it no longer. Only on feeder rods when you're really punching a feeder out far. But I don't see no point in having a reel there because the balance of the rod's wrong. So always make a point of putting your reel as far up the butt as you can. and you get the true balance of your rod. The true balance of the rod should be there, but it's not. I think it's about there, you'll find, just about there. But with putting the reel back here, the balance is all out of proportion. Right, these are the baits I'll be using today. All I've got is about 2 pints of squats in there that I'll be using for the hook and for feed. And these are the ground baits that I'll be mixing and using today. And Marcel Van Den Eynde ground baits. It's the special and the Supercup. And in the water that I'll be mixing it up with, I've put some vanilla flavouring, which I find very good for the roach on canals. Right. It's quite simple, a 50-50 mix, half a bag of Supercup to half a bag of special, all in one container. And just give them a little mix before adding the water, just to ensure that they're all mixed round 50-50. Now I shall add the water with the vanilla flavouring mixed in. Just a little bit of the time, because the consistency that I'll be using is not too wet. I like to mix it up as dry as possible, but allowing it to still hold together when I throw it to the far side of the canal. A little bit more. I think that'll be about right. Many anglers, when they knock the ground bait, they just put the ground bait in a bowl, throw the water in. Sometimes it's too dry, sometimes it's too wet. If you just take your time, always take your time, whatever you're doing in fishing, and it always pays in the end. Now, to a lot of anglers, I'd look at that mix there and I think, that's lovely, it holds okay, it can form a reasonable with one squeeze of the hand, but there's still lumps in that. And when I chuck a ball of that in as it is now, it forms a cloud, but you still get big lumps falling away, which fills the fish up too quick. With this ground bait, you just want to form a cloud as an attractor. So what I do, once I've mixed it, and I think that's suitable now, I get another bowl, and I get what we call a pinkie riddle, just a metal riddle, made for riddling pinkies, which is just a small maggot. I put the ground bait into the riddle, just sieve it. See all those lumps? They would have been in the feed that I'd have chucked in for the fish. You can break them down and make them go through the sieve. And we've left with a few then, just tap them out. Same procedure again, and go through the whole bowl that you've made, just sieving it. Breaking the lumps, making them fall through the riddle. And we just left a few, just tap them out. So you can see already how finer to feel. You can feel all the lumps in the unsieved ground bait, but when I pick up some of this, it's so fine. It's lovely. It's a perfect mix, that is. Let's just riddle a bit more. Break them lumps up. Less waste. here we are then, we're all ready to do a bit of fishing. I've just positioned my box, just adjust my legs so I'm nice and comfortable. My keep net's at hand, my bait tray to the side of me is at hand with my ground bait and squats. I've got my landing net set up, that's at hand. I've got a bottle of washing up liquid out here because the wind's got up a little bit, and when I start to fish the float rod I just might have to sink my line. Right, I'm going to start off by plumbing up on the 3 metre line. To plumb the depth, I use a swan shot with a piece of silicone clipped in to the swan shot, and I just put the hook through the silicone, and being barbless it just hooks in and hooks out. It's quite simple, just heavy enough to find the depth and not too heavy to make a big splash like the plummets do. Nice and simple. Let's see what the depth's like. I've set it at about 3.5 foot. It looks about right. Let's just try that again. The float's weighted just to the bristle, and I like to get it so as with that piece of silicone, when the hook goes through the silicone, the swan shot's rested on the bottom and the hook is about not quite half an inch off the bottom. And then if I can get the bristle of the float registering in the water just at water level, it means that when the float weight's up I'm at the correct depth at what I like to fish, which is about half an inch off the bottom. Now I always start fishing on 3 metres, always, and I fish for half an hour on 3 metres whether I'm catching or not. And at the same time I will be loose feeding and putting a little bit of ground bait on the rod and reel line, and hopefully after half an hour the fish have been feeding quite freely over there and they've got enough confidence to stay there, as opposed to going straight over there and disturbing the few that are there. And you've got far more chance of building up a better shoal of fish over there with feeding for half an hour, or it may be more depending on catching on the inside. And you've always got another line to fall on if the inside fails. So start off, just going to fast loose feed some squats on the far bank. Probably about 20 to 30 squats in there. Let's just fire them over there. Lovely. Also I've put a small ball of ground bait in, probably just a good handful, just squeezed. That's smashing, that is. At the same time I'm going to put a small ball on my inside where I'm going to fish. A few squats as well, not as many as what I fired on the far bank, probably about 15 to 20. Right, let's get fishing. Select a nice fat squat. Just hook the squat carefully on the bottom. Try not to burst the squat. That way it wiggles far more. Looks lovely, that does. I could eat that myself. Okay. Just throw that in there. Just sink my line between the tip of the pole and the float by immersing the tip of the pole about 3 inches and just giving a sharp pull with the tip underwater, and it tends to sink the line between the pole tip and the float. A few squats on the inside, a few over, every cut. Oh, we're in. Oh. A little bit of ground bait in this time on the near side. Oh, what we should catch though is roach by loose feeding squat and a little ball of ground bait every other cast. We should get the roach interested. And that's what we want to catch, the roach, because you can build up a weight quicker on roach than gudgeon. There's a bite there. By feeding every cast a few squats on the near side and far side, you form a constant trickle of bait going in, and all the time you're drawing fish, and they're fighting for them squats. It's only a small bait, they're searching for them. And it starts off slow and then you start to get bites, and if there's a lot of fish there you'll keep getting lots of bites and hopefully lots of fish. Oh, that was a fish then. Nice little perch. A few more squats again. A few more on the far bank. Oh. Come off that one, that was a roach. A 3-4 ounce fish. Took it as soon as it went in. Squats untouched. Little ball of groundbait this cast. There we go then. That feels like a perch. Oh, little perch. Let's disgorge this fish. There you go. It's just over where I had the last perch there. I expect a bite there. There we go. Another little perch. Especially for speed in a match. You don't have to change the squat. It's all extra time. A few squats on the far side again, a few under my feet. Missed that one. This squat's still okay. Just put a little bit of ground bait in this time. On the near side. I think it pays to put a ball straight behind the boat. As soon as it's come through, it just makes the fish think, well, I think in my mind that the bottom's stirred up and you don't put nothing out there, and the fish don't like it, and if you've got fish out there, it tends to make a move on. But if you suddenly put a ball of ground bait in straight after the boat's come through, the fish think, oh, that stirred something up nice, and they tend to stay there. And you can hold the fish longer then and build up a better weight. Well, I've caught a few on this 3 metre line. I think it's about time I changed and had a look over on the float rod over there on the far bank. Should have this one last cast. We've caught a few perch and a few roach, a couple of gudgeon. A little gudgeon. Unhook him. Put him in there. Just have a look on the float rod. Perhaps not. I'll just stay another 5 minutes on the short pole. I just noticed another boat's coming through, and I always like to go over on the float rod when it's settled after the boat has been through. So I'll just give another 5 minutes short. Using the same principle again, just a small ball of ground bait over the other side because that boat's just come through. A little ball on the inside. Once again, another pouch full of loose feed. That wind's getting a bit bad now. Still, that's lovely. They're out there. Winter time, the boats tend to help you more. If you're sitting there in the winter time and when the water tends to be a bit clear and you do happen to get a boat come through, it can liven up your swim. But 9 times out of 10 though, they are a nuisance, especially when you've got fish feeding. But give it 2 or 3 minutes after a boat's come through and you start to catch again. That one more cast. Incidentally, the colour of the water as well, it's like a, well, it looks like it's polluted really when you look at the canal water, and yet the fish so healthy, as if, you know, there's nothing wrong with the canal. Well, I don't think there is nothing wrong with the canal, it's just a funny colour. And people look at it and think, oh, fish can't survive in that, but it doesn't affect them at all. One more. Just put that in there. And a bit more feed on the other side. A little bit on the inside. Still getting bites down there. Still a few fish down there. And a little lift there. We're going to have a little perch. Oh, missed it. Let's have a look on the float rod now. Right, we've got the depth as we plumbed up before. I know that's the right depth out there where I'm fishing, about 1.5 metres off the far bank. I may have to put some fairy liquid on the line if that wind is too bad, if I can't get the line to sink well enough without it, but I'll try it first without it. There's the line, seems okay. Once again, another pouch full of feed. And at the same time I've stopped fishing under my feet, I'm still going to feed, like I wasn't fishing on the far side, but I was feeding. See what we get. Oh, a bite there first put in. I expected a bite first put in because I've been feeding over there, but that's good signs, that is, that there's a few fish there. Let's try it again. No, not disturbing the fishing. We've just had 3 boats come through. And a lot of ducks. And we're still catching fish. Now a nice little roach. Really and truly, if I was fishing the caster, the roach probably wouldn't be as big as this. It's a good sized fish. And a little bait of just a little bait of squatt it took. Really nice little roach. Easily disgorged with a little hook. Cast and feed all the time. Cast and feed. If you stop feeding, the fish will go away. bite there. We got it. Oh, it's a nice little roach, that is. I net that one. It's a nice size, that is. Nice weight builders they are. That size of fish. It's swallowed that. We'll have to disgorge that. Nice. It's lovely, that is. Nice size fish. People seem to think that if a fish swallows the hook, you make the fish bleed and it's unfair to the fish, but I think if you've got a plastic disgorger, they're the best ones. Disgorge the fish lovely and there's no harm to them whatsoever. Once again, cast and feed. Right, let's have a look what we got in the net then. Well, they ain't bad for a few hours fishing. A few nice roach in there, a few perch, a couple of gudgeon. Nice little session. All that remains now is to return them and to pack away the tackle. And also, just incidentally, I always bring a plastic bag with me. And when I pack away and break down my line and hooks, I always put them in a plastic bag and clear all my rubbish and take it home and put it in the dustbin. And there we have it, the swim left all nice and tidy, free of line and rubbish, all ready for the next person. See you next time.
Da-dee-dee-dee-dee, da-dee-dee-dee. This'll do me. Look at that, a lovely willow tree, a nice back stream, and then on top of that I've got a barge, a sunken old barge, perfect for chopworm. That'll do me today. Lovely. Let's get this lot off me back. Right, let's tack it up for a bit of action. Oh dear me, that was a long old walk. I'm going to strip off a bit, cool down a little bit, get rid of some of this clobber. Oh, you don't realise how much gear you wear. Oh, that's better. Now I'll get down to some tackling up. Put these out of the way behind me. That'll do, they can go on there. Right, let's get my old box comfortable. Let's get the old... I like to sit nice and comfortable when I'm fishing. So what I like to do, if I put these legs up a little bit, loosen them off, tighten them up, too. I think when you're pole fishing like I'm going to do today, I think one of the most important things is to be really comfortable and make sure your old box is nice and solid. Use this metal bar here at the bottom to make the stand nice and solid, and I've got no worry about moving about. Just a little extra bit of height on the back. There we are, we're nearly there. That's it, now the old box is nice and firm. Just test it out. It's nice and firm and solid. I can stand up and I've not got to worry about tilting, going in or anything. I'm happy with my box now. Now I'll just get round to tidying everything up, putting everything where I want it really. Put that there, that's my bait carrier, that there. And I do like to get my rod holder nicely near the river bank like this, really, because it's a lot safer. There's quite some expensive gear in here, these poles for example. It comes out, it's a Triana one of their most expensive range ones, and when I tell you this is over £2,000, it's quite a bit of money. So the reason, as I say, I'll keep things near the bank like this. More for anything, it's safe from walkers, bikers or anyone, and it stops me worrying when I'm fishing. So I'll lay that there for a moment, take me other bits and pieces I need out of here today, me landing net handle, and I've got me keep net in here somewhere when I can find it. Let's have a look. Here it comes. Put that back. Now hopefully I won't have to touch that no more today till I've finished. Lay that there. Put this next to it. That's it. So that's ready to start use. I'll put that. I've already moved this once. I'll move that again right behind me. Just whip this off. Lay that down there. Oh, everything's still wet from yesterday's fishing. Right, let's get this landing net. If I make this up now, normally I used to leave this till last, and I'll never get one match I fished. To be honest, it was quite an important match, and I've tackled up and I've gone for a walk thinking to myself, Dickie, you got loads of time, nice and early. The match has started, and after about a quarter of an hour, I've actually hooked a fish, probably knocking on to a pound. I've gone to pick me landing net up. Oh, you blooming idiot. And honestly, I'd left it in my bag. I hadn't even tackled it up. So since then, to be honest, I've been putting my landing net up first. A lot of people laugh at the net, a bit big, but you never know. I mean, I'm going to fish chop worm today. I could quite easily hook a bream to £3 and even the occasional carp. So I think it's good to have a net of that size. So we'll lay that out of the way. Next thing I'll do, I'll take my poles out. Today is going to be quite easy to tackle up, because the difference with this sort of fishing, chop worm fishing, if I was squat fishing, caster fishing and just fishing a general match, I would need to set 3 or 4 rigs up, but with chop worm, 1 rig will do the job. So I only really need to set 1 pole rig up today. I'll take that joint out, and see what elastic I've got in the actual top that I've got put in the pole. I'll whip that top out. No, it's like I've got a number 3 elastic in there, so that's the top I'm going to use today. If I show you the floats that I do use for chop worm fishing, I've got a few loose ones in here. I'll put a few out. Find the chop worm one, and I've got a couple of special chop worm ones in here. There's one of them. That's a lovely chop worm float, so I'll just drop the others back. Most of these floats I've got here, as you see, they're all the same floats. They're floats that have been made by a friend of mine, Richard Latimer. Very nice floats. Quite honestly, for canal fishing, chop worm fishing, I think they're as nice a floats as you can get. I'll just put this back so I don't spill them everywhere. As you can see, my gear's in a bit of a state. Right, this is the float for chop worm fishing. As you can see, it's slightly different to most floats. I'll have to point out the way it's different. It's got quite a long wire stem, which I think is pretty important too for chop worm fishing, because you want the float to be stable so that you can lift and drop all the time. Now the other thing, as you can see, the length of the bristle. Now if you can see that is a very long bristle. It's probably 1.5 inches to 1.25 inches. And the other thing about it, the thickness of it. When you get to my age, your old eyes, they start to go a little bit. Joking aside, I prefer to use a thick bristle. I honestly believe that a lot of the floats today have got too thin a bristle. You fish at 11 and 12 metres and you just struggle to see them too much, but these have got a lovely thick bristle, nice and long, and as I say, the reason you need it long is because all day long I shall have that float dotted right the way down to practically a 1/16 of an inch out of the water, and I should be working it all day, lifting it, dropping it, pulling it to one side. pulling it to the other, because I want to tease the perch into taking me bait. So that's the sort of float I'm going to use. Later on during the day, I've got some, if you can't get hold of these floats, I have actually got some floats that I make similar to this myself, where I sort of divert other floats to look like this. And I'll show you that later on a piece of cardboard, make it nice and easy for you. But I want to get on with some fishing. I know you want to see me catch some fish. I want to catch some fish, so I'm not going to mess about too long like this. Right, let's get the old pole rig put together. I'm just going to put this away, as I'll show and lose it. Right, put the pole rig on. Pole anchor back in the box so I don't lose it. I haven't got a Stonfo on. I just attach it straight to the elastic. Put that through. Hold it and pull it. A lot of people know that knot, so I won't bore you with telling you how I tie it on. Right, that's all done. Let's take the hook out, put that there out of the way. And I've actually got an olivette on this. I know you can't see the olivette, but I like to use olivette when I'm chop worm fishing because it's got to be steady for lifting and that. So you use bulk shot, so an olivette's nice and neat. Right, here's my operating table. This is where I'm going to show you the different ways to present the bait. Right, here's our redworms. As you can see, I've got tea leaves and pieces of apple in with them, and take it from me, that's one of the best ways to keep worms. The same with the lobworms. Put apple and tea bags and everything in. It really does keep the worms in tip-top condition. Keeps them lively and wiggly. I might confuse you, I've got one of the Weiss tights here. I've got a piece of netting, a piece of lead and pebbles. So these are the way we're going to actually feed the worm. Now this is the worst job of all, is of course chopping the worms up. This in this bottle, believe it or not, is the old Ace that British Groundbait used to make. It's liquidised worm extract. It really does smell, but it helps to tip it on my stocking when I actually fill it up with a chopped worm. But let's get round to chopping some lobs up. Not a very nice job. I'll take 2 or 3 out. 2 or 3 nice big lobworms. We'll put 5, we'll do 5, we will. There they are. Put them in there. Now let's get to chopping them up. Now this is a real messy old job. This is the only thing that is dodgy about chop worm fishing. It's funny how different people chop worms up in different ways. When I'm going to put them in the stocking, like I'm going to at the moment, I like to chop them up really as small as I can. Let's try it with these other scissors. Sometimes these work better for chopping them up really small. That's it. They can really put everything together. There's the lobworms all chopped up. They're chopped up. What else I like to do? I've got some nice reds in here, pure reds. Where are they? There they are, a nice thick bundle of them. Take a few of them and do the same to a few of them. It's a right old mixture there, isn't it, eh? Give them a real good old chop up. Right, they're chopped up, look at them, lovely and small, filled with life. Now I'll show you what the stocking and the netting's for. You can either use netting or stocking, but what I'm going to do, I've got the toe there, I'm going to get the scissors, I'm going to chop it off, leaving about 3 inches. We're not going to need that no more, so take that home with me. Put it in the dustbin again. Next thing I'm going to do, these little pebbles that I had, one of the pebbles, and drop it in there. And then I'm going to mix all this lobworm and that up. Always remember to wash your hands before you eat any sandwiches. And I'll put that in there. Put the lot in there. There it all goes. Just leave a little bit to... Right, we've got it all in there. Next thing, like that. The string I had. Piece of string. Cut it off. And tie it round. Once, just put a knot in it. That won't lose it. There we are. Scissors again. Like that off. That. Back in the box. Put that in there like that. A little bit of this stinky old stuff on it, soak into it. Like that. Normally I'll leave that for a couple of minutes while I'm getting ready for the whistle to go. Yeah, look at that, all soaked in that old Ace. And what I do, I'd pop that in my cup. And the idea of this is you can just take it away and you can just lower it into the water. I'm not going to put it in, I'm just showing you how it works. And then take it out, and that's ready. Oh, here we are, look at that, what a lovely bite. To be perfectly honest, that don't feel like a perch. A roach it feels like. Hang on the old winder, roll up, there we go. Oh, that is a good fish, the old elastic come out. Ah. Oh, what was that? That's definitely not a perch, what is it? Come here. Oh dear me, I believe that, it's a dace. Dace or chub one, what is it, dace or chub one? Come here, look at that, come here. That's it. What is it, dace or chub? Let's have a quick look. Dace! Yeah, it's not, well, I'll say it's not very often. You do catch dace and chub on worms, but not very often you catch a dace. Right in the top lip. Come here. Just nice and gently get it out. Nice fish. Put that in the old net nice and gently. Here we go. Landing it out of the way. The old action's hotting up now. Right, let's get out again. Just been on catching a few fish. I've just put keep the old fish happy. Just put a little bit in my cup. I like to keep them happy. The fish are coming quite quick now, so we'll put a bit in every put in. There we go again. Lay the float there, turn it over, bang the pole. Look at that, lovely. Let's get ready for more action. Oh, another one. Ah, this is only a small fish. That's a swinger this time. Swing this one to end. Little perchy. Oh, disgorge your job. I must have let that take it a little bit too long, that one. That's it, out nice. Nice little perchy. There you go. Sometimes when you do catch a lot of fish, you do intend to forget to keep feeding. There's a few fish there now. I'm going to start putting reasonably sized worms on. Just nip the end, just about that. That's a nice size. So there is a few fish about, and we just try and get some bigger fish. There we go. I'll let it settle. Oh. Ah. This is definitely a perch. See the running of it. You always tell a perch when you hook one straight away. Never any. Hey. Come here. Ah, look at that. Probably one of my biggest perch today. I said I put a bigger worm on. It's not a monster, but oops, it's all right. Just blew the worm up the line a little bit this time. In. That's what's that? 3 or 4 ounces. 4 ounces probably. Use the worm again. Use the same worm. Come out. Cool, they've got hard mouths. There's no. I'll just get the disgorger. Makes life a lot easier. And you no chance of damaging the hook. There we are. Pop her in the neck. Get out there again. That's a bite. Oh, that's better. This is definitely a better fish. Could be a big perch or pike even. It's done it good. Definitely the best fish I've hooked today, without a shadow of a doubt. Look at that elastic come out. Is there a better feeling than that, eh? Look at that. That is a nice fish. I haven't really put any proper tension on it. I don't want to lose it. It's not very often, especially with the cameras here, you do actually hook a good fish. Take me time with it. I'm not going to rush it. I'm just going to say, as if I was fishing a match, how careful I'll be. And I'll make sure I get this one in. But I shouldn't say that, I'll probably lose it now. Look at that, beautiful. So I get it on the roller. That's it. I keep everything nice and smooth. I don't want to lose this. Keep the fish down in the water as long as I can, because once they start splashing on top, that's when you're liable to lose it. When we see what it is now, I don't think it's a perch. It's definitely not fighting like a perch. Look, it's trying to come in under me net now. The arm's out. As soon as I get it away from the bank a little bit, I'll lift it up and we'll see what it is. It's definitely a nice fish. I'll say it's probably poundish, maybe a little bit more. I'd open and praying this would be a bream. I've said we'd sometimes get them, but it's definitely moving slow. It could be a tench, bream or a carp. It's not a pike or a perch. I've put my life on that. Look at that elastic now. Beautiful. Just going to take me time. I'm not going to lose it. I probably bloody well will now saying that. Just my luck. Come here. Oh, I think it's a tench. I'm pressed. It's a tench. I'm pressed. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's a bream. Look at that. I thought for a minute it was foul up, but it's not. Come here. I get the net in the water ready. Come here. Ain't even. Once I get it on his side, it'll be beaten. Fighting well. Look. Come on, over it. Well, that's blue. It's a bream. It's not that big really, to be honest. I was hoping it's been a bit bigger than that. Come here. Right, still turn it. Get some air in his mouth. That'll be all right. Now, once you get some air in their mouths, they're yawn. Come on. That's it. Lovely. What a finish. What a nice finish. I think I've just about caught everything today. Look at that. And that's pound and a quarter. Let's take that out. Oh, what a lovely fish. Look at that. Beautiful. I'll use a disgorger on that. It's only just hooked in the side of the mouth, but just look at that. What a beautiful fish. What more, eh? Oh, give it a kiss. That'd have been a match, I'd have given it more than a kiss. Right, let's get out again. I think we're just about, I'm gonna have one more chuck before I call it a day, and I'm gonna put another big worm on, just to see if there's any more about, because the old bream, they do intend to go around in shoals or threes and fours of them, so there could be some more out there. I'm going to sort a real big lobworm out this time. Well, not lob, a real big one. I might even put 2 on. Blow the expense, put 2 on. 2 on. Never know, we might get another one. I'll pop that on. And I'm not even going to bother to put any feed in my cup this time. Look, the old elastic's hanging out. I'll go straight out there. I kept it nice and quiet. It never flacked or anything. There's quite a good chance there could be another one out there. Just lay it on. Hold on. I've just thought of something. I was just touching bottom. I'm going to just put an extra 4 or 5 inches on that, and if there's any more bream there, they want it laid nice and still. I'll put about another 6 inches on, and I'm going to lay it on over depth without moving it, and just see if I can get another bream. I'll do that, because they do like the old bait laid on the bottom, the old bream. Just lay it on, and I'm just going to sit there with the bait dead still. Take your settings. Right. I'm going to have 10 minutes like this just to see if I can get another fish before the end. Come on, fish. Come on, fish. Another bream and finish the day off beautiful. There we are. We're going to get one. Go. Take it. That is a typical bream bite. There it goes, nice and slowly. Oh, God dear me. It's not a bream, don't worry. It's just a little fish of some sort. A little sweller, a little perch. Would you credit it? Eh? That's double worm laying on and get a little perch of that size. I think that is just about enough to make me call it a day. Unhook it. I'm going to pop that in and I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to wrap that round there out the way. I'll lay that along the bank. I'll get my pole and lay that along the bank. And then we'll have a look what we've caught today. I'll lay that there, just get rid of a few bits and pieces out the way. I'll lay that there. Pop these pots out the way, everything out the way, and we'll have a look what we've caught today. I've got to be honest, when I say this is a typical chopworm day's fishing, it's an exceptionally good day on the chopworm. I have caught a little bit more than I really expected, to be honest. I mean, that is an absolute lovely day's fishing on the chopworm. Just look at that. There's got to be 8 pound there. Look at that. There's the old bream. What a lovely fish, eh? There's the dace I caught. Oh, they're getting out, and there's some perch. Look at that, loads of little ones. Perch of all size. What a lovely day's fishing, eh? That just shows how good chopworm fishing is. Put them back nice and carefully. I like to let the fish swing out themselves because I've had such a good day's fun with them. You don't like to hurt any of them. Back you go. Look at that. There they all gone. Check you don't leave any in the net, because sometimes with the old perch they do get stuck in the net. Now, I'm going to lay that out to dry along there. Give that a bit of a shake. Lay it out to dry and start packing my gear away. I've really enjoyed that. Not only have I caught a load of fish on the chopworm, it's cost me next to nothing to have the day's fishing, because I've collected most of the worms myself on the old lawn at night and kept them a little bit in. As I told you earlier, you can keep them in the apples and the tea leaves. They keep in good condition, and I've enjoyed it. So I'm going to start packing up. First thing I'm going to do, before I put my gear away, pour myself another cup of tea to celebrate the catch. Pour some tea out, and then we'll start putting my gear away. One other thing I always do before I do anything else when I pack up, the first thing I like to put away is my pole. Get that put in the bag completely out of the way, and I ain't got to worry about it getting trod on. So we'll do that first, put the pole away. Like that, we'll lay the joint there. Fantastic. I'll sleep well tonight after a day's fishing like that. It's absolutely bang on, that was.